Good afternoon. From the KUOW newsroom, this is Seattle Now. And happy full moon. This one's called the cold supermoon because it comes in a frigid month and is a supermoon, meaning it's near its closest point to Earth. I'm Paige Browning with a roundup of today's top stories. It's Thursday, December 4th. No new taxes. That's the plan from Governor Bob Ferguson. Today, he laid out a preview of his budget plans for 2026, in which the state's already facing a budget shortage. Ferguson says he wants to make cuts, not add new taxes to address the red in the budget, according to the Seattle Times. Democratic lawmakers have already started proposing tax plans, such as a payroll tax on corporations. Ferguson says any new revenue outside of sales tax and property tax increases will not bring in money fast enough to solve the state's current budget problems. The gears are turning in a whole different way on the light rail tracks. Service to Federal Way opens this Saturday, and already commuters are thinking about how it will affect their lives. Joshua McNichols has more.
Just below the new station platform are bus stops. That's where I found Jacqueline Dominguez. She's commuting to El Centro de la Raza on Beacon Hill.
And I'm so happy too and excited.
She's excited because it'll cut her 3-bus commute down to a single train ride. And then there's Kais Habibi. He can't wait to take his kids to the great Persian restaurants in Seattle. Persepolis is his favorite. It's in the U District. There's this one dish he loves there.
As a special kebab, it's really, really nice. It's like grounded meat, and the way they prepare it, it's amazing stuff.
The first passengers on the new light rail extension can board after a ribbon cutting on Saturday at 11 a.m. Joshua McNichols, KUOW News.
However you get around, it's going to be a wet one for a while. Another atmospheric river is expected to hit western Washington starting tonight through early next week. Jacob DeFletch is with the National Weather Service.
Probably the heaviest rain are going to arrive Sunday morning. And then really, I think the steadiest rain we do see is going to be pretty much late Monday afternoon into early Tuesday morning.
He says the lowlands could get about 2 to 3 inches of rain. The coast could get upwards of 4 inches over the next few days. He says people should be aware of flood risks going into next week. Snow's coming too, above 6,000 feet. That may be too high to help eager skiers. Ski areas like Stevens Pass are a bit lower and will get a rain-snow mix. From our politics desk, Washington Congress members Pramila Jayapal and Adam Smith have introduced new legislation that would put limits on immigration detention practices. It would require the Department of Homeland Security to let Congress members make unannounced visits to detention centers.
Our bill also phases out the use of private for-profit detention centers. It prohibits the detention of children and families and makes it harder to detain primary caregivers and vulnerable people like pregnant women or seniors or workers who are whistleblowing on unscrupulous employers.
Jayapal says they're calling it the Dignity for Detained Immigrants Act. We've reached out to Homeland Security for comment. There's big discussion underway about crime trends. Crime rates in Washington state are continuing last year's drop. And that was the big takeaway in a briefing for state lawmakers today. Amy Radel has more.
Analyst Jeff Asher says the U.S. is seeing record declines in its murder rate to the lowest levels ever recorded. And this year's numbers indicate that Washington state is included in that trend.
Maybe in the first year or two of World War II is kind of the only comparable period in terms of seeing such a strong drop in murder. We're sort of in uncharted territory, at least from a national perspective.
Asher compiles the Real-Time Crime Index. He told the House Community Safety Committee that this year Washington seems on track to return to pre-pandemic levels of violent and property crime. But analysts did flag several concerns, including more juvenile murder victims and the number of crimes that go unsolved by police. Amy Radel, KUOW News.
We're also tracking a measles scare. An adult who traveled through SeaTac Airport in November may have exposed others. They were in the terminal November 11th and November 17th, according to Seattle King County Public Health. Symptoms like the traditional rash usually appear within 3 weeks. The state health department has confirmed 12 other cases of measles this year. It's a hard time at the community colleges. In the Seattle area, they are slashing budgets as they face multiple financial pressures. Ann Dornfeld reports.
At Shoreline Community College, President Jack Kahn says 9 staff members face layoff at the end of the school year.
I've been in higher education for 30 years, and this is the worst experience I've had in my entire career. As one of my colleagues has said, all the walls are falling at the same time.
Along with state budget cutbacks, Kahn says the state clawed back $1 million accidental overpayment. Federal immigration pressures mean far fewer international students, a key revenue source. Faculty Union President Erica Mako says while state underfunding is primarily to blame,
we also have problems with financial mismanagement, and that is coming to harm the workers and subsequently the students.
The college acknowledges $16 million in past fiscal issues, including accounting errors. Ann Dornfeld, KUOW News.
A lawsuit's about to drop to protect gray wolves. Conservation groups say they plan to sue the federal government to keep protections in place because last month the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service announced it would not put out a national wolf recovery plan. The Center for Biological Diversity says that violates the Endangered Species Act because they are still listed as endangered in parts of the nation. That includes parts of Washington state. If you weren't at Climate Pledge Arena last night, you missed a huge roar of a crowd because Seattle's new professional team, the PWHL Torrent, took home their first win on the ice.
Barnes has it at the blue line. For Bilko, one-timer, Carpenter scores!
That was the call during last night's game against the New York Sirens. Final score, Torrent 2, Sirens 1. Speaking of Climate Pledge Arena, President Trump has pardoned a key figure who helped create the venue. Tim Leiweke was a co-founder of the Oakview Group, which renovated the space previously known as Key Arena. A federal grand jury indicted Leiweke over the summer, alleging he conspired to rig the bidding process for another sports complex at the University of Texas. Leiweke was facing a $1 million fine and 10 years in prison. And finally today, a little something for the fans. The Seattle Mariners Fan Fest is returning to T-Mobile Park after a 6-year hiatus. The last weekend of January, fans have a chance to get behind-the-scenes access to the team and ballpark as they wait for opening day. And you might meet Cal Raleigh, Julio Rodriguez, or Josh Naylor. Next time on Seattle Now, it's Casual Friday. We'll talk about street scammers and how to avoid them.
Somebody came up and talked to me on the street the other day, and I was avoiding eye contact, which is actually my MO. Sorry, everyone. And then they kept going, and I finally moved my headphone off my ear, and they were just looking for directions to a store nearby, and then I felt terrible.
Yeah. Right.
Hear more tomorrow morning. That's all for today from the KUOW Newsroom in Seattle. Our producer is Andy Hurst, and I'm Paige Browning, trying to stay dry out there as I walk the dog tonight. Seattle Now and KUOW are members of the NPR network. See ya.